Hey guys, welcome back. It's Krista, and here we are. I'm doing it. I've been teasing it for a while on this channel, but I am starting a new bullet journal at the mid-year. So this is a custom bullet journal that I made for my good friend Alex. So I called it Alex's bullet journal. She is a fellow bullet journaler and she worked with me. And so we were just able to make this custom bullet journal, pre-made bullet journal, exactly how she wanted it. And her ideas are so good, guys, that I knew I wanted to start it in some capacity. So full disclosure, I actually currently have 3 bullet journals I'm currently using right now, so I'll go over that in the end. But yeah, Alex's bullet journal was awesome. One of the main things I loved about the bullet journal she made was that she really wanted to make sure she included a space for meal planning, which I have always wanted to do in my bullet journal, but I have never quite figured it out through all my years. So I was just so excited that she was able to so seamlessly put meal planning into her bullet journal, which you'll see here in a second. And she also, wanted the themes, and so I just colored it in like I colored in any bullet journal that I start with. And I actually had the opportunity to be on Alex's podcast recently, and we just talked all things bullet journaling. She's a big fan. I've converted her. She wanted to call it a planner, but I convinced her to call it a bullet journal. But because, basically a bullet journal is just a planner that you intend on keeping. So it kind of makes it a journal in one, and that helped her. Anyways, so I'm calling this the Simplifying Motherhood bullet journal, my work and play bullet journal, because, as a mom, sometimes I just get bogged down by the meal planning I have to do, and this has just cleared my mind of that for sure. So Alex's bullet journal has a brain dump spot for ideas for breakfast, lunch, snack, and dinner, which you'll see. It's also a dated bullet journal, so there's a year at a glance that's dated, all the monthly layouts are dated, and all the weekly layouts are pre-dated as well. I'll talk more about her weekly layout once we get there, but I'm about to share a little snippet of our podcast that we did together, Alex and I. And just some of the main takeaways are I just have loved seeing how this bullet journal has helped her. She didn't love coloring, and then she started loving it, and then the journaling side of it. So go ahead and listen in and see how this bullet journal has helped Alex.
I am not into typical forms of art, like the whole making all cute and stuff like that. I appreciate it for other people, but I just don't do it. It's just not my thing. But because I have these custom ones that I made for you, and they have like cute flowers and cute little designs for the months and stuff. And I'll have right here, like my thing of colored pencils that I went and bought because I didn't own any colored pencils. So that each week I can color. And it's been so therapeutic for me to have that time to just, it's like not that much, but just have a little bit of coloring time has actually been a very therapeutic thing for me as well.
Yeah, and you specifically asked for dated bullet journals or dated planners.
Yeah.
Most bullet journals are undated, and sometimes I even feel like the process of dating it, or you could say the process of just coloring and starting it almost gets your mind in that mode. I found I kind of like that, where I sit down instead of going straight to oh, I didn't do this, I need to do this. It's oh, I'm just gonna color for a little bit first, and set up the
Yeah.
dates, whether it's dated or not, but look at the dates. What are the dates of this week? And color in a few things. And then you kind of can reflect. And I mean, the whole process on my YouTube channel, there's lots of how to's and stuff, but we can get into the whole process of looking at what you didn't accomplish and is it still worth it to you, and crossing it off if it's not, or moving it to next week if it is, or all those things are important, but it's kind of nice to have something a little bit therapeutic, like you said, to just kind of get you into it, because then it's not just you open your planner and you're just I didn't do this stuff, or I need to do these things. It's just a fun
Yeah.
thing, a peaceful thing, hopefully.
Yeah, no, that's so true. Those are really good tips for making a more peaceful experience because you're right. I haven't always felt this way about planning. I've always been a planner, but there have been times in my life where people would say, every week you should, you know, make a plan for the week, or every night before you go to bed, make sure you have a plan for the day tomorrow. And I was like, that just feels so stressful. I'm not doing that. But yeah, I think you bring up some good points about why I don't feel that way anymore. And I think a lot of it is it's a smoother process. Yeah, I'm like, why is it different now?
I don't know, because it's an art, I think. I think that's where like the journaling part comes in. Like, you know you're gonna keep it. You know you're like excited about this. You created this thing.
Mm.
So it just like makes it. And I guess one other thing I'll say about the journaling side of it is sometimes when I used to, I don't really journal anymore. I just use my bullet journal. That's a whole nother topic. But when I used to just like journal, like free write in my journal, it was almost sometimes like venting or like I needed to get
Mm.
off like hard emotions, which is important. But the nice thing about bullet journaling is that I know I'm going to keep it. And I also like love to share it with people, show it to people. So I try and like consciously write down the good things. And so that's like a form of therapy, right? Like remembering the good and like,
Yeah.
so anyways, just knowing that I'm going to save this. So I try and just remember the good moments. Like, not that I don't want to forget, I don't want to like exclude the hard moments, but like clouding my mind with the good things rather than bad things is
Yes.
kind of
Well,
where
and
it
that's
comes
like
for.
literally like a psychology concept, right? Where it's
Mhm.
like your mind, like the way our brains are designed is it's like they're designed to keep us safe. And so we look for dangers or for things that are going wrong, just as a survival instinct. But it's like teaching your brain to look for things that are going right and look for things that are working and things that are going good can actually create that reality is like,
100%. I definitely
like,
think that, yeah, like as I think of the good things, I see more of it. So it
yeah.
just can only help.
Yes. And no, I think that's been really good with my kids. And this, I'll just say like I'm a work in progress with this, but it's been really good with my son, especially who he he's very sensitive and has some intense needs. And it's really easy for me to get sucked into that. Like, he's so hard, like, it's so hard, blah, blah, blah. And it's like this, having this space to look for like all the sweet things that he does. I'm like, oh gosh, I have the cutest son who's like so sweet and so loving. And he's has some sensory things that gets in the way that makes it hard for him. But I feel like I've been able to see him differently because I'm constantly like seeing all these, like I'm like, oh my gosh, he's the most loving little boy I've ever met, which I
It's so good.
have not always felt that way.
Yeah, we're entering the tantrum phase. So I'm like, what do I do here? Experimenting day by day,
Oh
trying
my
to figure
gosh.
out the ways to do it.
Hey guys, it's Krista here again. That was the end of the podcast recording I wanted to share with you with Alex, but I just love those two things, especially I can relate to Alex in that, when you have these kids, my daughter, like I said, she's throwing lots of tantrums. It's easy to like think, negatively, I guess, or that this is so hard, but I agree with Alex, and having that time to like reflect and try and journal about the good things reminds me like, okay, she's actually amazing. We got rid of her binkies this week and she's just like doing so good. So journaling about the good is always a good thing. So anyways, this is her weekly layout. You can see the meal planning spots for breakfast, lunch, snack, dinner. You can see how she has time for Monday through Saturday. And then that upper right corner has her outside hours for the week, and that's where she intends to journal about her kids. So yeah, I just think her weekly layout is so thoughtful. I had so much fun making this bullet journal with Alex, and I was really so impressed by her ideas and how I love the weekly layout. I think the weekly layout is like the most important spread in your bullet journal because it's the one you're using the most. And I just love how there is space for 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. But also, like, if I don't use that, I can just like go back in and fill it with like notes from the day or like to-dos. So I told you that I use 3 bullet journals right now, so I'm gonna just show you them real quick. So I'm still using this, is the first bullet journal that I made. I've talked about it before. The weekly layout is a 1-page spread, which I don't love. So like that kind of was what helped me want to like move to Alex's bullet journal, but I still I can't get rid of it. This is like my baby. This is my first pre-made bullet journal, and there's a ton of like journaling about my kids in here, so I kind of am keeping it almost as like my personal bullet journal. Yeah, and I'm gonna keep talking, like writing stuff about my kids. I kind of use this one and Alex's similarly, but this one I would say I'd put it as work and play. Yeah, it's just more like I'm trying to like do better at doing like the mom and like cleaning roles of myself, but then also like I can put a lot of work tasks for myself that I like to do. I put some of like the social media posts that I want to post on here. I don't know. So I really like it. I have no problem doing multiple journals. That's not something I struggle with. However, I am curious to find a way to put them all in one. I don't know if it's going to happen or not. And Alex herself actually made 2 separate bullet journals that she's using right now. One is for her business and one is for her personal life. So it's okay, I think, to separate them. Even though I want to put them together, I have them separate. And then I'm actually done with this. It's another bullet journal that I created. It's on my website. It's just blank dot grid. So this was just the cover. My sister actually designed it. It's completely blank dot grid pages all the way through. And I finished it. And this was also a work brain dump bullet journal. And I was gonna try and have Alex's be like my brain dump, but because there's not a ton of, I just like having a blank bullet journal that's not necessarily like super cute. Like I don't use a ton of like markers or anything in here. This is truly just like a brain dump, especially for like my creativity and work. And like it's kind of funny that I have a bullet journal for like my bullet journaling business. But of course I do. I mean, I just have to like get things out. And yeah, it's not necessarily a journal, but I guess if I do ever want to like journal about things, that's probably the one I would go to. So this one's done. I have another one. That little tray back there is where all my extra bullet journals are, which I've been doing some giveaways, so I'm getting rid of some of them. But I literally just hoard blank bullet journals for myself. For others, I'm not even really sure who for. So I think I have given away most of them, and I have a plan to get rid of the other ones as well. And so there is a blank dot grid journal in there somewhere that I'm probably going to pull out and just like use for this one. So I'm going to link all of those in there. And if you are interested in purchasing Alex's bullet journal, then that'll be up on my website soon. You should follow her at Mindful with Media. She's amazing. I have worked with her one-on-one as my coach. And she's just awesome. And one of her main messages too is just being super mindful with media or with your phone usage, which is something that I've never been very good at. And anyways, Alex has blessed my life, the things she shared in that podcast you heard, and you should check out the podcast as well. So I'm going to link her Instagram. I'm going to link her podcast. If you want to listen to that whole podcast episode, it's so good. I'll link it there. And then if you want to follow her on Instagram, she's amazing. You should follow her. And then the last thing I was going to say is if you are someone who bullet journals like Alex, so Alex totally bullet journaled before she met me, and she like had a hard time accepting that this is what she does. She bullet journals, but she bullet journaled, and she had a very clear vision, specific vision for her bullet journal, and was, I guess, tired of setting it up. And we helped make it cuter and more fun as well. But if you're someone like that who has like a bullet journal planner, or journaling idea, I would love to like put our minds together and like bring it to life and get it sent to you so that you can start using it and you can start seeing these awesome, transformations in your life where like your planning / journaling experience just gets better and you're thinking about your kids in a more positive light or whatever. I just know that there will be some positive side effects from it. But also, once you make that journal, you can then affiliate with me and sell it to your audience. So I'm in Alex's audience. I luckily created it, so I was able to get it myself, but I would probably buy this journal even if I hadn't made it myself. So if you are someone who has an audience and you want to make a journal for yourself that you can then also sell to your audience, talk with me. I am able to take on some clients right now if you are ready to get that journal going before this baby gets here. Okay, I am going to flip through that bullet journal one more time, but thank you so much for watching, guys, and we will catch you in the next video. See ya!